Hey guys, my name is Mackenzie. Please excuse me, I'm just gonna be here to rant today. That's just what I do. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for being here. I hope you're having a lovely day. So this video is going to be about how I cured my depression, how I went off my meds, and how I discovered happiness. If you want to know more about how to do that, if you're tired of feeling like a fucking robot, you're in a place where you feel like you're supported and you feel like this is the time to embark on a journey like this, then I strongly recommend that you take notes. There's a lot of fucking information in this and my head is all over the place. Before I get into the video, please like this video and subscribe if you like the content. I really appreciate it a lot and I appreciate you so much. So thank you, and I hope that you enjoy this video. I suffered for a long time. I was actually diagnosed with major depressive disorder in like a fall of 2021. And I had like a lot of self-sabotaging tendencies. I was like drinking, like binge drinking, and I was very anxious. I was very stressed out. I had social anxiety. I had suicidal ideation. Never like made any attempts, but I thought about killing myself very often. And it was just like a struggle for a long time, especially during the pandemic, because during the pandemic, when I was like stuck at home, didn't really have any distractions, you know. The year before, actually in 2019, I had lost a very close friend of mine to suicide. So I was grieving, and then my grief, it just like merges into depression. I already had like very negative thoughts already. I eventually started taking SSRIs. I found antidepressants to be helpful, but then like after a while I realized like this cannot be like it, like because it was almost like a depth of me was taken away. Like I struggle to be creative. A lot of people say that and it discourages people from taking medication, but I feel like medication when you're really struggling is the next obvious step towards getting out of that hole. When you're depressed, it's almost like you're wearing like goggles or like glasses, you know, and you literally just can't see the world like in the way that it really is. Like you can't perceive the world with all of the possibilities and all the opportunities. Like you just don't see them. I had these goggles on like for many months and years. The antidepressants removed those goggles for me, and I was able to realize that like my reality was not the only reality. I became very hedonistic. Like I was just looking for like pleasurable experiences because for such a long time I had told myself that like life was meaningless. So once I got to the vibration in which I could experience pleasure again, I was like, shoot, let's just do it all, you know? High highs create low lows. And what goes up must come down in terms of dopamine. Just a quick disclaimer out there. I am not encouraging anyone to go off their medication without talking to a healthcare provider or their psychiatrist. Consider your circumstances and then come to your own conclusion. Once again, I am not encouraging that you go off your meds. If you are suicidal, have suicidal ideation, please just talk to your healthcare provider before doing something like this. This can be a very big step for a lot of people. If this information is applicable to you, then carry on. If it's not, please click off the video. I don't want anyone doing anything risky, and I don't want anyone hurting themselves, okay? Thank you. Do your due diligence and be responsible, because when you go off that medication, like real quick you start getting sad again. It's gonna get harder before it gets better, so just be aware of that. I realized that my depression was caused by anhedonia, which is basically the inability to experience pleasure. And I realized that I got this because I was like a very obsessive person, and I would like milk all of my hobbies and activities and the people that I loved. I would milk these attachments dry to the extent that they became addictions for like these short interludes. And then so when I wasn't in that state, I would just be sitting there like depressed. Life has no meaning because I'm not obsessed with anything, or I can't have my obsession, or my obsession isn't with me right now. And so like life has no meaning, you know? So that's kind of how my depression like started. I read Anna Lemke's Dopamine Nation, and I was like, okay, maybe it's just compulsive overconsumption. Maybe that's my problem. I went on a dopamine detox, so this means that I went 2 weeks without social media, no movies, no anime, no K-pop, no hip-hop, no nothing, like just meditation and reading books for the most part, and exercising. Through the dopamine detox, I realized that I had to restructure my life. I would get on my phone first thing in the morning, scrolling through social media, through fucking Instagram or whatever. Basically what was happening was I would look at these things and I would get all excited first thing in the morning, and when you experience these short bursts of pleasure, they are followed by long interludes of pain. your mood will shift to sadness, or you'd be bored or lonely, or they'll manifest as different thoughts. But the mood is the issue. Once you go up, you have to come down. You have to dopamine detox first. Stop getting on social media first thing in the morning. Stop drinking, stop smoking. And I understand, like, with addictions, you are chemically tethered to this object, this activity, or this substance. So it's not easy. Like that, you might need like actual therapy, like to help you wean yourself off of different things. But if it's like a mild addiction, like, you're addicted to social media, or you're addicted to listening to a certain type of music. I had such an addiction to sad music, bro. I had to give that shit up because it was making me sad. Who would have thought that sad music would make you sad? I basically had to like reform all of my habits. At first you're gonna be like, damn, I really have to give up everything? Yes, give it all up. Like, because once you give it all up, you can start adding things back in, but you have to give it all up first. Like, that's the thing. People try to change when they're still doing all this stuff. You need a clean break from all of your addictions, all of your attachments. I strongly recommend at this point that you read Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Dr. Joe Dispenza. These things that I associate with me create the program of me. That's my ego. So every single day I will go through the motions of being me. I'll wake up in the morning and think the same thoughts. I'll look in the mirror and see the same person and be like, oh, yep, I remember who I am. And then all the things that I associate with myself, I just keep playing on a loop every single day of my life. And so what you have to do is break out of the loop. If you want to change your life, fix your life, you have to break the loop of who you think you are. I was able to create a new identity from doing new things, okay? Take a new route home, go somewhere, hang out with some different people, even if it's just reading a new book or watching a new TV show or something. Just put something new into your mind. You have to do new things. I understand that human beings like to do what's familiar, but familiar sometimes, when you have propensities, can also be triggers. And what is familiar can also just be keeping you where you are and holding you back from what you could become. Then I restructured my entire schedule. So my entire daily schedule, from the morning to the nighttime, I realized that because of the whole dopamine thing, there were certain activities like gaming or watching anime or just like scrolling through social media. Those are not productive habits. I got this concept from Atomic Habits by James Clear. Your perception of yourself is tied up in how productive you think you are. If you don't feel like you're being productive or making moves towards your goals, then you're going to experience guilt. So that can trigger your depression as well. If you can experience like a very quick burst of pleasure and feel agony for the rest of the day, then you can experience a short burst of pain and experience pleasure for the rest of the day. That was just the answer, because I started exercising. I started doing like breath work, depriving myself of oxygen for a couple seconds. And then I felt good, and then I started taking like freaking ice baths, or cold showers. And then I'd come out and I'd be like, wow, I feel great. Do some research on these things. They're powerful state changers. You can shock your body into a completely different emotional and thinking state. So I just started doing that. I started shocking myself out of the state that I was in. I would wake up in a funk and I'd be like, fuck this, I'm not doing this. And I get in the fucking shower and problem solved. Your subconscious mind strongly determines how you feel, how you act, what you do, what you say, and what you believe. All of that is tied up in your life experience. I'm 100% convinced that I fucked up my subconscious programming, and that's the reason I developed depression. What you need to understand is that whatever you hold in your mind before you go to bed at night, that's what you're gonna experience the next day. So I went to bed a lot of nights feeling sad, feeling like a failure, feeling like I was a terrible person, like my life was going nowhere. I would basically go through every event that happened in the day and be like, oh, I shouldn't have said this, or I shouldn't have done that, I'm a terrible person. It wasn't like I would tell myself I'm a terrible person, but I would ruminate in that feeling of failure, of regret. And then the next morning I'd be suffering. I'd be like, why is this happening to me? Duh, because you spent the whole night feeling like shit about yourself. So I had to reprogram my subconscious mind. I had to realize I had self-limiting beliefs and ego narratives and these villain origin stories. Well, I'm this way because this happened and that's why I'm the way that I am. Just these unnecessary stories. I had a lot of them, hundreds, thousands maybe, of just negative beliefs about things. Naturally, if you are constantly feeding your subconscious mind negativity, then when you're in a low state, that's what's going to come up, because those are the thoughts commensurate with your feeling state. And every night, I repeated affirmations for several months. Through that process, I was able to repair my relationship with myself. Sorry for the morbid image, but that was the final nail in the coffin to defeating my depression for good. Like, I have not had a breakdown in months. I'm no longer engaged in the things that were once harming me, and I no longer have the goal to harm myself, because ultimately depression comes from guilt. Depression comes from guilt, regret, shame, grief. You're grieving over attachments or people or things you lost. There are lots of ways that you can do subconscious reprogramming. A lot of law of attraction people have a lot of information on how to reprogram your subconscious mind. And to be honest, it works for so much more than just getting money or getting your ex back or manifesting a new job. It works for healing your wounded inner child and changing your entire life and transforming your entire being. If you want to know more about reprogramming your subconscious mind, I strongly recommend you check out this book, The Power of the Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. It really explores in depth and in detail how to always be in the state of mind that is conducive to you achieving your goals. The reason people self-sabotage is because their subconscious programs are not commensurate with the goals that they have, with the things that they really want. Okay, so the other thing that you need to realize is that you have to be ready. You have to be ready to change. You're suffering right now, so you might as well suffer a little bit more and put in the work, because it's gonna hurt. Purging yourself of all this old stuff, dealing with your wounded inner child, crying this shit out, grieving old attachments that you never resolved. This shit hurts, but it's worth it. Once you're out of that pit, you discover yourself again. I personally believe that when I was a child, I started accumulating all this gunk, conditioning, programming, the negative energy of others around me. And so you just need to take those glasses off, clean them, and put them back on. People would talk to me, and I just kept repeating the same things again and again. I didn't have anything else in my brain other than what I had trained myself to think and believe. So bro, I am with you. I was there. I understand. If it's hard, I understand that you're crying every single night, or you can't even cry anymore because you're just so numb. You're apathetic. You don't care. You don't see the point. Why are we here? What is the point? And I get that, but do you want that? Is that how you want to be? I just want you to know yourself. And know what you want so you can have what you want, because you can fucking have what you want. Don't let anyone tell you can't have what you want. That's the reason why a lot of people get depressed, is because they believe they can't have what they want. They believe they can't be happy. They believe they can't be successful because of all of the other people who are unsuccessful and unhappy around them. Realize that these other people had problems and you took on their problems. Those aren't your problems. You got your own life to live. Don't worry about your parents and what they're saying and what they feel. It doesn't have anything to do with you. You have to get out of that pit first. You have to clean your glasses, because you can't see. You just can't see when your glasses are foggy with all this bullshit that you've been trained to believe. So it's not your fault, okay? We're all just products of our environment. Ask yourself what it is that you really want, because you can have that life. It's really just waiting for you to take it. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope this information was helpful. If you liked the video, please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this. Thank you so much for watching. Peace and love. I will see you guys next time.